next, we're going to take a look at the Revolve option for 3D in Illustrator. And this is the most applicable option, I think, for creating original 3D objects. You can't really get any primitives in Illustrator for 3D, so this allows us to create actual 3D objects that we can rotate and manipulate in space. Now here I have a couple of artboards. This first artboard has some placed artwork of a wine bottle. And what I'm going to do also is I want to create that shape, and then I'm going to use some labels. This is going to be a neck label, and this is going to be the front label for the wine bottle. So the first step that I need to do is I need to create the art that's going to allow us to do the revolve. So you can see that I've created a guide here, and on this guide is splitting this artwork in half. So what I want to do is I want to trace the right hand side of the artwork with the pen tool. So I'm going to grab my pen tool from the toolbox, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by clicking, and I'm going to zoom in a little bit so I can see a little bit better what I'm doing, and just going to continue tracing this down the way. And when you're tracing, you want to trace the outside. The color of the fill doesn't really matter too much. The color of the stroke does matter. The color of the stroke is going to be what determines the color of the revolve object. So I'm going to go ahead and change that once I'm done making the outline here. And if that fill bothers you as you're drawing, you can always hit the / key, and that's going to just get rid of the fill color. If the stroke color was in front and you hit the / key, that would also get rid of that fill color or stroke color. So I'm ending up here, I'm doing a little bit of guesswork because the artwork was cut off, but I'm doing a little bit down here. I'm done with my stroke. I don't need to continue on the other side, so I'm going to hit the escape key, and that will finish off my stroke. I'm going to zoom out so I can see what I did. And I'm going to select the fill color. And for the fill color, this bottle is predominantly black. I'm going to double click on the stroke color. And although it's predominantly black, I want to give it kind of a red hue. So I'm going to move my cursor into this dark red area. And then I'm going to click OK. And that will give me a dark red stroke. Now I don't need to see the artwork anymore. So it's already locked, and I'm going to turn that layer off. I'm going to select my selection tool. So I'm going to select the outline. And now I'm ready to do the revolve. So I'm going to go to the Effect menu, down to 3D, to Revolve. And the 3D Revolve Options dialog box comes up. And when I turn the Preview checkbox on, you'll see that the wine bottle now gets created from the Revolve. And for this particular illustration, I do want it to be straight on. It's got a little bit of a dimension here. If I wanted to, I can add a little bit of perspective, but I'm pretty happy with the way that it looks right now. Now you notice that the surface is set to plastic shading. We can change that to a wireframe so we can see what the wireframe looks like. And one thing I want to explain is when Illustrator does revolve, there are several different surfaces that it's creating. Notice that it says surface. So this cap section might be one surface, this neck section might be another surface, this bottle section might be another surface, but there's several different surfaces. So that's going to be important for what comes up next. I'm going to change this back to plastic shading. And you'll also notice that there's a simple light source. With any type of environment, we want some lights. And if we go to more option, we do have options for lighting. So here I have just one single light source with the light intensity all the way cranked up to 100%, some ambient light, highlight intensity, the highlight size, the blend steps, and then the shading for any shadows. To add a light, I'm going to click on this little button, and that will give me another light source. Notice that that light source is placed dead center. If I want to, I can manipulate it and move it over here or up here in the corner. It depends on what effects you're looking for. So I'm going to move it down here. I'm going to reduce the intensity a little bit, maybe to 60%. For the ambient light, I'm going to just make that 80%. Highlight intensity, make it 75. For the highlight size, 90 is fine. And for the blend steps is going to end up being the quality of the render. So I'm going to set that to 60. And the shading color is black, and that's fine. Now the next thing that I want to explore, I'm going to click OK on this. And so now it gives me a really decent 3D model. It's pretty good. You can see that Illustrator doesn't do a great job of rendering down here. It's a little choppy, but it's pretty decent. Now these two objects, the neck label and the front label, in order to get them onto the bottle, they have to be turned into symbols. So you'll see in your symbols panel that to create a symbol, all you have to do is select the artwork and drag it into the symbol panel. And I've already done that. Here's my front label, and here's my neck label. So they're already in here. So now I need to apply that to this model. So again, I've lost the 3D settings, so I'm going to go back to the appearance panel. And here's my 3D Revolve. I'm going to click on that. I'm going to turn my preview checkbox on. And then we saw options. These are the options for lighting. And I'm going to check out the options for mapping artwork. So for mapping artwork, you can see that there's a symbol drop down, and then there's a number of surfaces. Right now I'm looking at the top of the bottle. So I'm going to cycle through, and it will show you on the map where you are. So this is that top portion of the bottle. This is that top lip. And as I go through here, this is probably the neck of the bottle. The light areas are the areas that are visible. The dark areas are the areas that are not visible. So I'm going to click this drop down, and I'm going to choose the neck label. And you can size and scale the artwork onto the label itself. And with the preview checkbox on, I'm not seeing what I thought I would see. So I'm going to click clear. I think I have an idea why that's happening, so I'm going to clear that artwork. Let's go continue through. So that's that top part of the bottle. And then that's the bottom part of the bottle. Let's keep cycling through here. There are a total of 22 surfaces. So, all right, so this might be the front of the bottle. So I'm going to choose the front label. And yes, so that's the front of the bottle. So what's happening here is that sometimes Illustrator has exterior and interior surfaces. So that first one that I did happened to be one of the interior surfaces. That's why I wasn't seeing it. All right, so let's keep going through. I'm trying to try to find that neck. So this is the exterior neck. So I'm going to put that neck label here. And yeah, that works. So then I'm going to scale that down and size it into place. And again, you'll notice that the section that it's in white is the section that's visible. So only the part that I can see that has text on it is the word wines, and vintage is kind of off on the back side. Now we have an option here to shade the artwork. So I'm going to turn that option on. That'll incorporate and include the shading and the highlights into the artwork that's mapped to make it a little bit more realistic. And I'll click OK on that, click OK again, and click away, and here's my final art. So the project that you're going to do is you're going to create a product, and that product, you'll create your own label, you'll create your own outline like I did, and then you're going to map your artwork to the label.